I just got my report card back and it was pretty mid. You see, this was in junior year and the results of junior year would be a pretty good indicator of how your senior results would go. And of course, senior year being the most important year, junior year was a way for you to prepare for that. I was of course terrified to show my parents my report card, but I eventually had to. And as expected, my mum was extremely mad at me. She was lecturing me about, oh, it's because of the phone, you're using the phone all the time. It's because you stay in your room all day, you're not getting anything done, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your youth. And of course, you know, I knew better than my mum. Of course it's not my phone, it's not because I stay in my room all day. She's just crazy. So I didn't listen to her. I came back into my room, and as soon as I got in here, I put my headphones on, I opened up my laptop, and I booted up Destiny 2. And I continued to grind Destiny 2 up until the night time. And then when I woke up the next day, it was actually a weekend, it was Saturday. So I continued to grind as soon as I woke up, from sunrise to sunset. I sank into the video games for hours and hours, and not gonna lie, it was pretty nice. Leveling up, completing difficult levels, creating unique builds, it felt like I was progressing so much compared to my real life where I wasn't progressing at all. I was giving mid results, wasn't playing any sports, still had the same skinny fat physique. For a moment in my miserable, depressed, downright suicidal, hate-filled life, I felt happy, content, fulfilled. Which is weird for me to say, right? Video games are ultimately a waste of time in my opinion. But the context, it's so important, because I like to think back when I was growing up, year 7, year 8, so I must have been around 12, 13 years old. I would come back home from school and my parents would of course have so many expectations of me getting good results, doing whatever. Of course I didn't meet those expectations, and you know, they'd lecture me, they'd hurt me, they'd abuse me, whatever. I'm trying to complain, gain sympathy points, I'm just stating the facts. And that's where I discovered video games as an escape. I remember me and my boys after school, we'd hop on Skype, not even Discord. We didn't even have Discord back in the day. We would hop on Skype, we would call for hours and hours, day after day consecutively. We would be playing Roblox, and we would be playing this one game called Phantom Forces. You can think of it as Call of Duty, but in Roblox, but a very, very polished version of Call of Duty in Roblox. Our computers were so crappy back in the day because we couldn't afford anything else. We would have to play on the minimum graphics setting on a Roblox game. Oh man, that was the start of something beautiful really, those Skype calls back in the day. It was literally an escape for all of us. I don't want to take that away from my younger self. Sure, it wasn't optimal that I didn't play sports, or I didn't go outside, or I didn't participate in some sort of event or extracurricular activity, but I still would never change a thing about growing up and playing video games for hours and hours on end. I really wouldn't. So then what about my junior year self, getting those mid results, and instead of studying harder, instead of learning where I made mistakes from, I sank into video games as an escape? What about him? I'd say to him, hell no. Why is he playing video games? He's 18, 17 years old and he can't even study properly. He has so many responsibilities on himself. These are the most important years of his school career, of his school education, and he's just wasting away his education, wasting away his youth just for a couple a gun with 5% better reload speed. See, when I was young, the escape factor of video games was completely fine because I had nothing else to do really. But as I grew older and I continued to use video games as an escape, my responsibilities as a man only got piled on. All of a sudden there was more expected of me. I was expected to do certain things, I was expected to act a certain way, and all of a sudden this escape was actually a terrible thing. I had to face reality and decide to finally make meaningful change, start to become the person I was really meant to be, not this video game basement dweller that never left his room. And sure, it sucked in the beginning, 100% it sucked, studying and getting the questions wrong even though you try your best, and even though you're going through this concept for a third time, you still don't understand it, putting hours and hours into studying, and it gets a little boring and you get a little burnt out, getting to some sort of sport and you're clowning yourself in front of everybody because you don't know what you're doing. You're trying to learn how to play the sport and you're still failing. All of that sucks, 100%. It's so easy to fail and then want to just escape back into the video games instead. It's easy to just As soon as you fail, you fold back and go back to the escape of video games. Try and escape from the reality of how much work you actually have to do to change your life. You want to know something about myself? After years and years of hating myself, being depressed, being super anxious, hating myself, I think I already said that, being suicidal even, I was able to cure all of that in just 2 weeks. I put in the work for 2 weeks and I reprimanded all my mental health problems. 100% I still had a really long journey ahead of me, and these 2 weeks didn't cure every single thing about my mental health that was, messed up. I'd at least halved my symptoms, if you want to call them that. Within just 2 weeks, halved my symptoms. Bro, 2 weeks? 2 weeks? It doesn't take nearly as much time as you probably think to change your life completely. And take that from me. If you can trust anyone right now, trust me. I was the biggest basement dweller gaming addict who hated himself, was depressed, terrible mental health, as worse mental health as he can possibly think of. Being frustrated with myself, knowing why don't I change myself, and then continuing not to do anything about trying to change my life, which only further deepened my hate for myself, that I am acknowledging that I hate myself and that I need to change, and I'm still not changing. If I was able to fix myself, I know you 100% can, and I know exactly how you feel, bro. It's so easy to just escape back into the video games, right? It's so easy to just press the button, boot up your laptop, boot up your PC, and then open up the Steam library, pick a video game, and just grind away. Trust me when I say, the pain of staying the same is significantly worse than the pain of change. You're scared to change, just like I was, but the actual pain of changing is significantly less than the pain of just staying a depressed, hate-filled loser. It's easier to change than to stay the same. Crazy concept, right? If you want to improve your life, that's actually easier to do than to just continue hating on your own life. The thing is, it takes some guts to believe in yourself. It takes some guts to give yourself permission to change. Only thing holding you back is that first step to changing your life. That first step is all you have to take. This is me right now giving you permission. Take that first step. Take that leap of faith. Trust, I promise on everything that I love and I hold dear to my heart, it'll be the best decision you'll ever make for yourself. Take that first step.